he's a bit wound up. He's tired.
You're looking a bit tired yourself.
Yeah, well, you can't relax, can you? How are you?
No complaints, apart from getting used to sharing a front door.
Now the girls?
Up to mischief as usual. They really enjoyed the other night.
So did I. I'm gonna have to go now. You know, I was thinking, after the other night going so well, I mean, if you want to go out with the kids again one day, I wouldn't mind. We'll go out tomorrow if you like.
The girls didn't put you off then?
Well, I wouldn't be asking if they had.
They're going out with their dad tomorrow. It's already arranged.
Oh, what about the day after then?
They always see his parents the day after he's had them. You know, with them being the grandparents, they'd be mad if they didn't get to see the grandchildren.
Yeah, well, never mind. Make me an appointment, eh? Stick me in a big sometime.
Is your Derek on the phone?
Was it him you were talking to?
I wouldn't exactly say that I was talking to him.
Why?
Because he just chewed me ear off for 5 minutes, that's why.
Derek?
Yeah, Derek. And all in all, he is not very happy with his big sister.
Well, his big sister's not very happy with him, is she?
And I would say that he was just a little knocked.
Serves him right.
So I've invited him round for his dinner.
Oh, not on my day off, Ron.
Oh, Dee, if the air has got to be cleared, it's better sooner than later, isn't it?
Looking forward to a quiet day off today.
I don't know why you don't just let him get on with it, you know.
Well, what do you know about it?
Well, why don't you just let him live his life the way he wants to, love? Instead of interfering every 5 minutes.
Don't be stupid. I'm not interfering every 5 minutes.
Well, that's what it must seem like to him.
It'll look well in the newspaper, won't it, when our family name's smeared all over it?
Oh, I see. That's it, is it? And I thought you were worried about his vocation, not the tabloids slagging him off.
I am. That's what really got me mad with that Father Thornton. He's a lot older, and you'd think he's supposed to be a lot wiser than our Derek, but he just fobbed me off.
Well, what do you expect of a man of his age, Dee? All he wants now is a bit of peace and quiet, isn't it? Not someone like you breathing hellfire and damnation all over him.
All he basically said was, as long as none of this went public in any nasty way, then our Derek could just carry on doing what he fancied.
Yeah, and we all know that Derek fancies Margaret, don't we?
Oh, I give up. I'm going to get something for his dinner.
Hey, he could do worse than Margaret, you know, Dee. She's a nice girl.
He couldn't. He's a priest.
And he's a man.
Oh, what do you know about it? You're only a Protestant.
Bang!
Mrs. Sullivan was a good friend.
That's right, yes, she was.
And a trusted colleague.
That's right, yes, she was.
And was she a good timekeeper?
She was, yes, she was very punctual.
Even though she did not own a car.
That's right, yes.
And I believe you know the defendant, Mr. Graham Curtis.
He worked in the same firm.
Would I be correct if I were to suggest that during the weeks prior to her death, Mrs. Sullivan was relentlessly hounded into accepting lifts from Mr. Curtis?
That's right, yes.
Even though she was an excellent timekeeper?
That's right, yes.
No further questions.
Is that it?
That's right, yes.
Here it is.
I hate cemeteries.
So do I.
It was your idea to come.
This is the one, Sweeney.
Too many dead people.
Do you want to come round and have a look what it says?
I've spent the whole of my life avoiding thinking about this, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to push you.
You spend half your time thinking you never even had a mum and dad, and then the next thing you're thinking, oh, well, they'd probably come for me next week. I wonder what they'd be like. I wonder if they'd be strict. Or if they're strict, I hope they don't come. And my mind's saying, I'm going to run away. And you think, and I'm better off here without mine. They're probably cruel anyway. Bet my dad's crueler than your dad. Well, they're bound to be cruel, aren't they? They must be cruel. And he gave us away when we were babies, didn't he? Can't get any crueler than that. I hate my mum and dad. Do you hate yours? Yeah. My mum and dad stink. So do mine.
Sorry we came now. Didn't realise it'd be so hard for you.
I was only a kid then, wasn't I? Grown up now.
Do you want to go?
In a minute,
Do you want me to write down what it says?
if you like. It is the right name, then?
Sweeney, you mean?
Yeah.
It is, yeah. Do you want to know what it says?
What's the name on it?
First name?
The Christian name, yeah. And don't say Mrs. Sweeney, you. I do the jokes, all right?
Olive. Olive Nora Sweeney. Is that the name on the birth certificate?
That was my mum's name, yeah, Olive.
Oh, I feel better for a good wash.
Yeah, you look a lot better than the first time I saw you.
How are you feeling now?
Who, me? Well, I'm never going to win Miss World now. Is your husband coming in today?
Yeah, due any time.
Is he coping?
Oh, he's great. Well, except when I'm in a foul mood. Oh, we're talking about his ex-wife. Of course, she's rather sweet. Doesn't have my foul temper.
Oh, yeah, and I suppose she's got two perfect breasts as well, has she?
Yeah, everything seems to be perfect with Susanna.
It's all probably just in your head, you know. You're bound to be feeling a bit vulnerable now.
Yeah, I suppose so. Only, well, my husband and his lovely ex-wife, they're out there. I'm stuck in here.
Oh, thank goodness you're here. I didn't know you got the message right.
What's going on? Has something happened to Patricia?
No, I'm sorry. Why did you think that?
What, all the urgency on the phone?
No, it's because I'm in a total mess.
Well, don't worry, I can help. That's why I'm here. What needs doing?
Well, to be honest with you, it's Thomas. I need somebody to look after him while I go and visit Patricia. Would you mind?
Of course I don't mind.
Brilliant. I could hug you. Thank you.
Nothing stopped you at Christmas.
Come on, behave. That was just a weak moment of seasonal goodwill to all men.
And women.
And, of course, Patricia wasn't lying in hospital, having undergone major surgery.
So, where's Miss Wonderful Margaret, then?
Well, she's been ever so good recently, but she did have the day off booked, and I didn't want her to miss it. Thomas, Susanna's going to look after you till I come back, all right?
Couldn't you take him to cheer Patricia up?
No, I did try that last time I went to see her, but she's so down in the dumps. If I'd taken him in, she would have strangled him.
Run along, Daddy, we'll be fine.
Susanna, I really do appreciate this. Honestly, I do, but I really do think it would be a good idea if we keep this a total secret from Patricia, you being here, and from Margaret.
All right. I'll be your dark secret.
Don't push it, please.
All right. No problem. Max. Thanks for asking me to come.
Harold Sydney.
Probably would have called him Harry, wouldn't he?
Resting where no shadows fall. That's nice.
Olive Nora. Probably wouldn't have called her Holly, would he? Just sounded like one of Laurel and Hardy.
I know that my Redeemer liveth. Sounds religious. She could have been a religious woman, I suppose.
Good chance by the sound of that.
There's not much to go on, is there?
At least we found it. Probably hasn't seen any flowers in years.
Beloved husband. That's sad.
Devoted mother.
Devoted mother.
Well, she wasn't very devoted to me, was she?
No?
Must have been an ugly little nomad. Well, she binned me off straight after I was born, didn't she?
She did, yeah.
Well, what was wrong with me, eh? She got rid of me quick enough, didn't she? I mean, what was wrong with me? What was so different about me that she wasn't a devoted mother to me?
I don't know.
Well, there must be something weird about me.
There must be a simple explanation.
Oh, sure, like what? Look, I don't want to be weird, Mars. I don't want to be a freak. I just want to be ordinary.
And we've heard that Mrs. Sullivan was a good timekeeper.
Yes, she was. She was very punctual.
But despite that, on more than one occasion, you offered her a lift in your car to or from work.
That's right, I did.
And on more than one occasion, you, a single man, actually gave Mrs. Sullivan, a married woman, a lift in your car.
It seemed a convenient arrangement at the time.
You did, in fact, did you not, on a number of occasions, entice Mrs. Sullivan into your car against her wishes?
I wouldn't say entice.
I'd like to put it to you, Mr. Curtis, bearing in mind the testimony of more than one prosecution witness, that you frequently and overbearingly desired that Mrs. Sullivan should accept a lift in your car, even after she'd expressed a wish to make alternative arrangements for her travel. Perhaps you're mistaken in your memory of these incidents.
I would not say that I enticed Mrs. Sullivan.
Mistaken or lying?
I'm not lying.
But you're not telling the truth.
She's looking well, isn't she?
Yes, I can't believe how much better she's looking.
It's all a matter of positive thinking.
Yeah. If you decide it's beating you, you might as well give up.
And it's not going to beat us, is it?
No. When one of us feels a bit down, the other lifts us back up.
I see you've got your own private club here. Can I join?
Only if you get something chopped off.
Well, count me out, thanks very much. But anyway, that's brilliant. You've got your own self-help group.
Sounds a bit formal, doesn't it? Actually, darling, we're just friends.
We thought we might keep in touch with each other when we come out of here.
Yeah, that's right.
You haven't given me your address yet, so don't forget. Oh, and talking of forgetting, I haven't phoned my mother yet today. I better do it now while I remember.
So, how are you bearing up?
I'm feeling really good now. And I feel really stupid for the way I behaved when you brought Thomas in.
I think under the circumstances, we're all allowed to be a little bit moody.
Don't suppose you brought him in today, did you? It would be lovely to see him.
The day you want to see him is not here. He's at home. Margaret, I can't do anything right, can I?
Oh, well, I expect he'll have a better time with her.
Yes, that's right. They were having a whale of a time when I left. You're still coming out Monday?
I haven't heard any different. Be good to get out, get started again.
Well, you're not thinking of going back to work too soon, are you?
No, I meant started on real life, not hospital routine.
You take my advice and take it easy for a while.
I think I will, honestly.
Coping amazingly well.
And so are you. Managing everything at home and all by yourself as well.
Come on, Derek, sit down, get stuck in.
Are you going to say grace? You know, with this being such a religious household.
Uh-oh, seconds away, round one.
Derek's not in a fight with me, it's with his conscience.
Could I be mistaken, Degsy, or is that your hero slipping?
Oh, Ron, don't make fun.
Fun's my middle name, do you remember? Not like some people whose middle name might be Frolics.
Who might some people be then?
He's referring to your situation.
Oh, fancy that. Somebody else talking about me behind your back.
I said it to your face.
Oh, well, thanks for that small consideration, Ron.
And I was only joking. What you get up to under your cassocks has got nothing at all to do with me.
Ron?
Thanks, Ron. I can appreciate one less nose in my business, too.
You haven't come here to pick a fight with me, have you, little bro?
Oh, no. I've come to eat me dinner, haven't I?
Well, then sit down. Eat this. At least you're safe here from that little tart from next door.
I hope you're not referring to Margaret.
I am.
Easy, Derek, lad.
Dee Dee, love. What's going on inside me is taking some handling. I'm not going into this like a 14-year-old. I'm burning with this problem every night. It's affected me work, me friendships, and now my own flesh and blood, me relations, me family.
Because you shouldn't be doing it, that's why.
Doing what? I mean, we haven't been doing anything. Didi, when you're a priest, you don't have a wife you can come home to and cry on the shoulder.
You were kissing her. You weren't crying on her shoulder. And you've got Father Thornton for things like that.
Oh, great. Thanks. I mean, who's he? Some old bat who wants a piece of cake as company, not me and me problems. Don't get companionship from him. I don't love him or share my problems or my feelings with him. I work with him. Didi, I don't want to fall out with you. I need you. You're one of the only people in the world who I can hug without somebody bad-mouthing me as a Randy so-and-so.
All right, easy, Derek. Eat your dinner. We'll talk later.
I've talked. I've said what I want to say. Except to say that Margaret is not a little tart. So there's your dinner. You've been. Like comments like that should be.
But why didn't you say something?
Me? What do I know about it? I'm only a Protestant.
Bang. I was waiting for Mr. Sullivan to leave.
You were waiting for the man of the house to leave. The man of the house who might have been able to protect his family from an attacker. And when Mr. Sullivan left to go about his lawful business?
I went to the house.
The house where a defenseless young woman and child were left alone. Who came to the door?
Mrs. Sullivan.
You were carrying flowers for her, I believe. Was she welcoming your advances? Or were you being met with some degree of rejection?
Some degree of rejection.
Once or more than once?
More than once.
You were trying to deliver these flowers as a peace offering, possibly. After a number of weeks of relentlessly pursuing this poor woman who had repeatedly spurned your advances, as a dutiful wife would, these flowers were an apology for your unforgivable behavior.
More or less.
Is it not the truth that these flowers are being offered as an apology?
They were.
Yet they were rejected.
They were.
I suggest that your behavior over the previous weeks had been so intimidating and appalling that Mrs. Sullivan was by this time frightened of you.
I don't think she was.
I've already been told by Brookside Close residents, Mr. Johnson and Mr. Farnham, that when they saw Mrs. Sullivan talking to the defendant, she appeared to be somewhat distressed. She would only speak to the defendant through an open window. Voices were raised, and there was an atmosphere of tension. Descriptions of a frightened woman confronted by a frightening man.
If she had been so frightened of me, why did she come all the way to the shops to see me?
The precise reason we shall never know, shall we? Because sadly, Mrs. Sullivan is not here to tell us.
Hey, you. Hiya. I normally do those.
Well, I just thought I'd do them while I was here.
Well, I always keep them clean.
Well, there's clean and clean, isn't there? You can never be too careful with hygiene, especially when someone's coming out of hospital.
Well, Patricia's not coming out till Monday, and I've already told Max I'll help him spring clean.
Hi, I'm back.
Well, at least you won't have to wait till the last minute, will you?
I think we're capable of looking after ourselves, you know.
Come on, you. Let's come play upstairs. Oh.
What does Patricia think about all this?
I thought you were out all day.
Well, I'm sorry if I've disturbed anything.
I know it looks odd, but Susanna is a very helpful sort, and, well, to be honest, I was in need of some assistance, so she came round and helped me. You won't tell Patricia, will you? I haven't told her as such.
As such?
You mean you haven't told her at all?
This is not the time and place for this when she's ill in hospital.
Look, I know I only work here, but I don't really think it's fair.
Mommy? Well, look at these flowers. Aren't they just beautiful?
On that morning, would it be right to suggest that you'd gone to Mrs. Sullivan, fully aware of the profoundly disturbing effect that your behaviour had been having on her?
Possibly, yes.
Possibly, or yes.
Yes.
And you'd gone to see Mrs. Sullivan with your peace offering of flowers to beg her forgiveness. But that forgiveness was not forthcoming, was it? And when she would not forgive you, what happened?
I argued with her about my intentions towards her.
And that argument carried on, didn't it? You enticed Mrs. Sullivan to a place of extreme danger, this building site. And when you saw your opportunity, you were determined to punish her for not giving you the forgiveness which you so craved. Mrs. Sullivan, however, was a young woman of dignity and pride who valued her own life and the life of her precious child. She saw her chance to escape and to hide where you would not think to look for her.
I would like to make it clear to the jury that I had a deep regard...
She quickly climbed to the first level of scaffolding, and there you saw her.
Mrs. Sullivan, and I would in no way have wanted to harm her.
Surely you remember. Mrs. Sullivan was so terrified by this time that she climbed yet again, and yet again, in order to escape from your relentless pursuit. You were humiliated. You were deeply angry at being rejected. At that moment, your blood was boiling. And you hounded Mrs. Sullivan and her terrified child until you cornered her on the most dangerous section of the scaffold, overlooking the lethal glass canopy of the shopping precinct. And there was your opportunity to punish her.
I loved her.
You pushed her off the top so that she fell to a tragic and brutal death, didn't you? And without an ounce of shame, you caused the death of a young woman with her whole life ahead of her. And remorselessly, the death of an innocent and defenseless child. I'm going to kill you!
Silence! That's the man you should be accusing! That's the man who pushed her to the edge!
Please clear the court.
Close encounters with a shark coming up next for Stephen in Home and Away.